yeah, I got a little message in my inbox and I wasn't going to do a video until probably once I come back from London. But I got a message asking if I could do a video showing from the beginning how to fit and tie ribbons and point shoes and how to do stretches for point. Now, I've been asked this quite a couple of times and I think I've already done a video in regards to stretching, but I'm gonna touch on it again because I've actually, well, it's an important subject. But when it comes to point work, you always need to make sure you double check it with your teacher first. But yes, I'm going to London in 2 weeks' time. It's just a wee day trip. I'm going over to Freed of London. I'm going over on the 12th of July to get new Freed point shoes. I know I just got new Gainer mittens, but as I said, I've always loved Freed shoes. And I like to keep my Gainer mittens for special purposes like exams or something, or if I have a show or whatever. But at the minute I'm still using my Grishko 2007s. They're just about lasting me. I've actually had to shellac them, but my shank is starting to, it's holding on for dear life. But we'll do more on that whenever I go to London. I'm hopefully going to get a video done of basically my point shoe fitting and basically everything else. Another thing I want to touch upon is basically in regards to point shoes. If you're going to be doing anything, or basically if you want to double check anything, please run it by your teacher. The way I tie my shoes may not be how your teacher wants you to tie your shoes. Some people tie their shoes differently. Some teachers want you to tie them a specific way. The way I tie mine is the way I find supportive. Unfortunately, I don't have any ribbons on me, but I will touch on it lightly, and I'm going to touch on a few things lightly. And I'll probably try and get a better video done whenever I come back from London with brand new point shoes. Yes, in regards to point shoes, the pair I have on me at the minute are a dead pair. These are the Freeds that I de-shanked. I can actually, I've noticed I can actually still use these for point shoes. I don't know why. I'm still quite supportive in these. I was using them as demis in one of my classes, and as I was just working through my feet, I noticed, well, it was my teacher who noticed actually, and she asked me what shank they were, and I told them they were de-shanked, and she couldn't believe they were de-shanked because they looked still quite supportive. So I don't know if that's because of the way Freeds are, or if it's because I have literally jet glued one shellacked basically there where it bends at my foot. So I don't know. But yes, these are my dead Freed of Londons. They're just normal Freed classics. They are an F maker, and they're a 3X, 6 3X, and I love them. They're nice and soft, and they're still nice and supportive. But the problem I have with all my shoes when they're breaking down is the box compresses. So isn't that fun? But anyway, in regards to point shoes, in regards to ribbons, it all depends on where your arch is bending. For some people, if you can see, their arch bends right about here. I don't know if you have noticed, but I have noticed, and my teachers noticed, that my arches are actually a lot higher now. They used to be really flat. As I said, I used to be flat-footed, but my arch is a lot higher. But if you bend your foot, and where your arch is, that is where you want your ribbons to start. Pop your point shoe on. As I said, these are dead, but I just use them for example. Where your shoe bends is where you want your ribbons to be going. See where my foot bends there? That is where you want your ribbons to start. if they are, say for example, they have no drawstring. With my Grishko Vagnovas, I had to sew them a bit further back. I had to sew my Vagnovas back here because they had no drawstring, because I needed them to pull up because I didn't have that drawstring to tighten the shoe to my foot. So depending on how your shoe is and how your foot bends and how your arch bends, depends on where your ribbon goes. So my arch is starting about here. So I would put my ribbons basically, roughly, as I said, they would be about there. I always have my elastic quite high back where my heel is because I have a very narrow heel and I really need this to hold up. But I would have my elastic, my ribbon here, and I would have it only a little bit, where I wouldn't have it the whole way down. I would have it basically about there. And I would do the same on the other ones, and I won't have them at an angle, I will have them literally straight. Because I find if they're at an angle, they're not going to cross over, there's going to be gaps, and it irritates me. I sew mine a specific way because that's the way I like mine. But I am also very fussy, so that's probably why. When it comes to ribbons, I don't have any pairs on me at the minute because, well, they're basically, actually no, I do have a pair on me. I recently painted my old frieds. Forgot I had these down here. Don't know if you can see, but that is how I sew mine. The way I do it is I overlap it twice, so there's no stray end. So I fold it in on its side so it's a nice square, and I chain stitch the whole way around so it's nice and secure, so it's really pulling that up. And I do that on the same side. And what I do, you're not going to see it here, is I used to sew through the top and bottom of the drawstring casing. But what I do now, which I will show you whenever I get my new shoes, is I loop it over. I would go through the top of the ribbon and then underneath the drawstring, and I will loop it continuously, so that keeps that nice and tight, so that whenever you are on point, see this bit here, you'll see that this normally comes away. There's this little gap. If you have that sewn to the top of your drawstring casing, that's going to keep that nice and tight to your foot. So it's going to give you a nice streamline, and it's going to keep it nice. Basically, it's going to keep it nice and secure. It's also going to make the ribbon stay on longer. But that's how I tie my ribbons. I mean, how I sew my ribbons. How I tie my ribbons, however, basically depends on the ribbon. If I have excess ribbon and I don't have scissors on me to trim them, I will basically double wrap them. I always start with the inside, and I always cross it over, wrap it round, and then wrap it round again, and then tie it and tuck under. But what I see a lot of people doing is they wrap it around quite a couple of times. And one of the things I was told by my teacher was that's actually restricting your movement in your ankle. Especially if you're tying them really tightly, you're gonna put pressure on your Achilles. That was what my teacher said to me. And so the way I tie mine is basically what's not putting pressure on my Achilles, because I have quite tight, here can be quite tight sometimes, and I do need to stretch out a couple of times. But how I tie mine, I'll show you for the time being if I can get this pair to go on my foot. Whenever I'm tying mine, I always start from the inside. I pull it up as tight as I can, wrap it over and wrap it round against my ankle. I've always flexed my foot to make sure it's nice and settled, it gets where I need it. These are the ones that have the elastic in them. And then I wrap it around again to the inside of my foot. And then I would grab the other one, take it over, wrap it around and take it over the top of the other one. And take it over, and then what I would do is I will then tuck it under the one I have crossed over. And once I've tucked it under, that gives me a nice little space that whenever I tie it, I can just tuck it under. So that now that my shoe's tied, I have no gaps. My ribbon is tucked under there nicely and it's nice and secure and it's keeping that nice and pulled up against my foot. So that whenever my foot is on point, that ribbon is still nice and secure. So that's basically how I tie my ribbons. It's nothing major, it's the quickest way. And that's basically that. But on another subject, if you were requesting videos from me and I don't do them, it's not that I don't want to do them, it's more to do with the fact that I can't get myself to do them. I have what's called borderline personality disorder. Basically I'm certified emotionally unstable. And when people request things from me, I try and do as many as I'm asked, but sometimes I will see something and my brain will just go, no, that's too much. And it's not that I can't do it, it's that I'm unable to do it. I can't get myself to do it no matter how hard I try, no matter how I approach the subject. My brain will eventually go no and I will shut down. And by shut down I literally mean shut down. I won't talk to anybody, I have to go lock myself in my room and I will literally just go to sleep. So I know somebody asked of me to do the wiggle challenge, and unfortunately I've tried doing it, and I got as far as literally press and record, but whenever I went to actually go start it, I eventually stopped and I had a massive cry because I felt really insecure. So don't take it to heart if I don't do your requests. Keep in mind that my mental health is a real pain in the ass and some things are a lot harder for me to do than it may appear to be. Sometimes just getting out of bed is a massive chore, and ballet is basically, well, it's my release, it's my freedom, it's what makes me happy. And it's a touchy subject and it's not really something I like talking about, but it's something I feel needs to be addressed because you already have all these issues that go on in the ballet world, especially with lots of eating disorders. That the amount of stress that is put on a dancer, I don't think people understand basically the mental capacity some dancers have. For me, dancing is my way of coping, but that's not to say that I manage very well. In class, if I make a mistake, I literally beat myself up about it, and it really does knock me down, and it means in the rest of the class I'm just not gonna do very well because I'm focusing on that mistake that I've made, so I'm going to make mistakes throughout the rest. And it's not that I can't, get past that mistake, it's more to do with the fact that my brain's basically focusing on that mistake and literally knocking me down and making me feel so much worse about it that when it comes to anything else, I'm not able to focus on it. And I do need to work on getting past that. But it's not as easy as it seems. I have my last class before I finish for the summer, next Tuesday. I'm not doing any summer courses because I can't afford to. I lost my job and I don't have the income coming in anymore. I'm just about to pay for my fees, and that's about it. Apart from everything else, I suppose the best thing I can really say for anyone who is struggling with mental health issues, whether or not you're a dancer or not, is the fact that one thing I was always told was, don't let your mistakes define you. Like, you're not your mistake and you're not a mistake. You're only human and we can only comprehend and accept so much. So that when we do make a mistake, to some of us it's the end of the world. Especially for the likes of me, whenever something goes wrong, the little things are massive. And it's hard to explain to people, especially my family, that when little things are going wrong, they're massive things to me. Like, say for example, say I go to London and my whole intent is to get a new pair of pointe shoes. If I can't get those pointe shoes, that's my whole day ruined. That's basically, it's been ruined for me. I will literally be really upset. It would feel like the end of the world, even though I know it's not the end of the world. It will feel like it. And I'm hoping, all going well, that I will get a new pair of pointe shoes and hopefully a new pair of flats, as I don't know what is going on with my ballet flats, but whenever I point my feet, my foot just looks horrible. But I'm hopefully going to try and get a new pair. And I'm going to practice like mad over the summer, because I'm just repeating grade 5, and hopefully doing my grade exam next year, which I'm excited for. I didn't think I could do it as an adult, but I'm able to, so that's exciting. So it just goes to show that it doesn't matter how old you are, you can still do what you want to do. Like, I've always wanted to be a ballet dancer, but I never was able to do classes because I was moving around all the time. So I've got a brave few subscribers, and thank you for subscribing, by the way. I love you to pieces, thank you. I don't know how old my subscribers are, but if you are an adult and you've wanted to dance, don't hesitate to start. Nowadays, most schools are starting to do adult classes, and my adult class is brilliant. I love it, it's absolutely amazing. It's entirely different to my grade class. The way my grade class is set up is entirely different to my adult class. In the adults, we still do the basics, but we do a lot of intermediate stuff as well. Whereas in my grade class, it's a set syllabus. So it really is quite something, and it's exciting, because whenever after I finish my grade class and I go into my adult class, I know the steps, but my teacher could tell us to do, say for example after bar, whenever we go into centre, he could tell us, right, we're going to be doing turns. And then right after turns we'll do jumps, and then we would do the grand allegro. Whereas in my grade class, after bar, we have our centre practice, we have our petit allegro, and then, you know, with our petit allegro we have our turns and we have our jumps in with it, and then with our grand allegro we have our glissades, our saisons, our pas d'avance, and more turns. So it is quite exciting. I know this video is a complete ramble and a complete shambles, but I just wanted to touch on some subjects to let you know that I have been struggling with a lot of things at the minute. Life has been pretty hard. I've hit a bit of a full stop in my life, and I'm hoping when I go to London it will help kickstart things back into gear, and I'll basically be able to get into the habit of things again. And then come September, well, things will just start getting better. I've been going to the gym more, I've been working out more. I finally got my splits. I've been working like mad to get them, and I finally got them, but I'm still struggling with my box splits and my straddle splits. I got my front splits, but I'm struggling with my side splits. Is it those ones? When you got one leg in front and one leg behind, that's your front splits, isn't it? Oh well. Anyway, that's the ones that I got. And I've started working on my over splits now that I've got them gradually. I've started only about a couple of inches at a time. But yeah, in regards to uploads, I'm not sure whenever I get ones up. This is basically just a little standstill filler one, to just let you know that I'm still here. I see yous, I see your messages, I see yous liking my videos, I see the views that are going up, and I really appreciate that yous watch my videos and yous have the time to basically watch my videos. They're not the greatest, I'm not the best dancer, but dance is, it's not perfect, there's no such thing as perfection. Dance is a constant learning experience. It doesn't matter if you're hip hop, if you're jazz, if you're contemporary, or if you're ballet, classically, traditionally, or whatever. It's a constant learning experience. You're never going to perfect that turn, because once you perfect that turn, then what? So you've got a perfect turn. Nothing's perfect. Perfection doesn't exist. Ballet to me is not just an escape, but it's a constant learning experience where I'm not just learning a dance step, I'm learning more about myself. Like, never in my life did I think I'd ever be able to kick myself upside the head with my leg. And it's quite a shock whenever you end up hitting yourself upside the head with your leg, and you actually wonder what the hell just happened. And it is quite funny. But it makes you stop and wonder, like, wow, I just did that. So yeah, just one thing I will finish by saying, whatever you're doing, if you're struggling or you're trying to think, what comes next, what am I going to do with my life, just stop and look back on the things that you've achieved, and you'll be amazed at how much you've gone through and survived and succeeded and triumphed at. You'll find that your pros will outweigh the cons, and if your cons are outweighing the pros, then maybe you need to look at things from a different angle. That's all I'll say. So until London, actually, I will speak to you again then. And please do not hesitate to send me messages or whatever. I won't bite. I'm as friendly and charming as I try to be. So please do not hesitate to send me anything. I'll reply as much as I can, and please remember that if you request something, I will try my damn hardest to do it. But please don't be sad if I don't. Okay? Bye.